From an actual baby being CGI to just how much time it takes to transform a normal human into a zombie, here's everything about what Fear the Walking Dead looks like without CGI. Starting with that one kid who wasn't actually there, and no, it did not go unnoticed. AMC's Fear the Walking Dead, a horror series spin-off, has managed to raise the bar for bone-chilling content everywhere. But their first stunt with CGI that wasn't very well received by the audience came in Season 7. The team went on the bold mission to actually create a digital human for the show. The persona was created to resemble Mo, played by Avaya White. Yep, they did that, while the artists used a mix of everything it seems. ZBrush, Maya, Mari, Substance 3D Painter, you name it. It didn't exactly get the job done. Olander claims that they had to do it in order for the actual child actor to not be terrified of the zombies. Plus, the child White had to be aged a little too, as the filming settings had to be changed. So they really didn't have a choice. But it simply wasn't meant to be. Fans of the episode questioned just why exactly CGI was required in the first place, as they had never seen anything quite like this before. Another noticed how the eye motion was awful and it made it look like they only had one day to do it. I guess sticking to actual real people helps sometimes, but how much of it is CGI and how much isn't? They definitely aren't virtually adding people or kids for every scene. So to make it stand out, Darabont decided to utilize a combination of modern and traditional makeup and prosthetic techniques to get the result they wanted. Yes, they don't create CGI monsters. It's a little hard to believe, but it's true. This is a classic zombie show to its very core. Apparently, the man borrowed the idea from the original Night of the Living Dead, but it's always going to be the kind of classic aesthetic that Darabont has always loved, and he doesn't see the need to reinvent something that's held up for so long. Well, you know what they say, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. For Darabont, that strategy has certainly brought him a long way. They do obviously use special effects to enhance the features though. Gregory Nicotero, an Oscar-winning special effects artist, aka zombie expert, was enlisted by director Frank Darabont to enhance the haggard, drawn-out looks of the zombies. But they didn't stop there. For some reason, he also chose film over video when shooting for the parent show. But when it came to Fear the Walking Dead, that means little production is being filmed digitally utilizing Arri Alexa cameras and anamorphic lenses as opposed to the original series, which was shot on 16mm film. This is done in an effort to keep the new series' cinematic feel while keeping a visual barrier between our two shows too. All their little tips and tricks allow the filmmaker to draw from some unexpected inspirations by using CGI less frequently, and boy have they received inspiration from all sorts of things. Forrest Gump is just one of those examples. The first zombie the main character encounters after waking up and leaving the hospital is a variant of Gary Sinise' character when he loses his legs. In order to make the thing you are witnessing far more terrifying than it otherwise would be, the team employs conventional makeup techniques and certain computer visual effects. It all starts with the leg deformity. You take technique and inspiration from anywhere you can. There is no justification for rejecting any particular technology that can benefit your production, so really it's never just computer-generated imagery. It's a combination of every tool in their arsenal, and they aren't afraid to bring in the big guns so they can go the extra mile. Fernando Arguelles, a well-known director of photography, talked about how his work on Fear the Walking Dead inspired him to pursue a career in photography. The majority of Arguelles' work has been on television, and some of his prominent works are Prison Break, Hemlock Grove, and Scorpion. So you know the man knows what he's doing. He talked about the 7th season of Fear of the Walking Dead, and how it introduces the novel idea of the show's setting being a nuclear explosion. In order to capture that whole scenario perfectly, they had to shoot a ton of exteriors and interiors for VFX to build this new universe. Needless to say, the logistics were enormous, especially for the exterior photography. In the light of the new nuclear world, they completely redesigned the show's appearance. The man conducted several experiments before deciding on the show's appropriate colors, contrast, and frame. Finally, they began filming in Austin, Texas in the summer when temperatures were really high, and thanks to their bulky wardrobe, the zombies had to take a break after every session. Just picture how bizarre it would be to watch a queue of zombies getting cooled by special fans and then repeat. And they handled every aspect of the VFX during external filming for Fear the Walking Dead, as well as fusing those outdoor aspects with internal or exterior sets. How cool is that? It's fascinating the amount of CGI and filming combinations the crew utilizes to get just the right shot. But the bulk of the work is done post-production too. Adjustments are frequently made to films and television shows as they progress from the screenplay to real production to the final cut. Tad Dennis believes that with a new series, they were attempting to establish the style in the beginning. And later, they'll frequently reevaluate things in the edit. The editor himself went over the sequences, tweaking stuff here and there to find just what would add weight to any performances that seemed too light. For instance, in the story, they're trying to tell the planet is basically falling apart, so they wanted each character to experience it throughout the whole production. If a performance didn't do that, he would adjust the takes that were used or combine takes where the picture or audio would work better. The attention to detail in this show is insane, I'm telling you. Still, that's not where the CGI shenanigans end. The Walking Dead's use of actual actors rather than CGI for the most part to portray the walkers is one of its strongest features. Yep, these guys are just very hands-on, aren't they? I mean, they could have simply used technology to produce terrifying zombies to add to the cast. But instead, they hired makeup artists and special effects artists to transform regular humans into ghoulish zombies. And we're all grateful for their efforts, aren't we? But the numbers will have your mind rolling. Each season, the showrunners employ up to 200 extras. The show uses extras sometimes, although viewers aren't aware of that because the makeup and costume designers are completely transforming them. But despite all that, they still need 200 of them, and the majority of them work on set for days, sometimes up to 60 at once too. The Walking Dead producers really don't do things halfway, now do they? Here's where they do use special effects though, so humans blink 15 to 20 times each minute on average. Now that little human condition is automatic and continuous, but one thing about it is that it stops when you die. That means that on the set of The Walking Dead, walkers are instructed not to blink as much. But still, it's not exactly something that can be helped, right? This means they must go into post-production editing and digitally eliminate any walkers blinking caught on camera. Even if it is a tiny, costly change, you would notice if they didn't make it, and I think we've established by now that their attention to detail is unmatched. That's not all though. All walkers have a sound that is designed to terrify both the viewer and the characters on screen. It comes from their incessant groaning and moaning as they shuffle around near their victim. The walkers are taught to keep their lips shut and minimize their tendency to groan their brains out, without doing any of the actual groaning, that is. That allows them one simple favor. They don't have to mic everyone, and the sound editing team can just add the sound effects in post-production. As a bonus, they don't have to pause filming the entire thing to let someone sneeze. How convenient. Now, the makeup department isn't slacking behind anyone either. They're basically the key to this production, actually. It's no secret that Fear the Walking Dead has a sizable makeup department. But it is a shocker when you find out just how much time is spent on one zombie. Numerous walkers are frequently required on set, which means extensive makeup. In order to make these folks look like they have been rotting for more than a year, it takes up to 2 hours in the hot seat. Some of them may leave the scene early, but not everyone is that lucky. People who had severe burns or who had spent time underwater might end up sitting in the makeup chair for a very long time. So, from an actual baby being CGI, just how much time does it take to transform them into zombies? That was everything about what Fear the Walking Dead looks like without CGI.